Beautiful women. For those of you who don't know, the Altogether Beautiful movement was started because there were so many women that felt like they couldn't be their authentic selves. And if they were, they would be judged or rejected. And so the movement started to help us be our real selves, and in that be bold, confident, and courageous. So we are on a theme of storyteller, which was our 2020 conference theme. Now it's going to look a little different, and so I will give updates on what that's going to look like. But going along with the storyteller theme, we have been talking about how do we share our story, why do we share our story, why is it important that we do. And I was thinking about how that applies to what is going on in the world right now in regards to racism and injustice. So, in my opinion, part of storytelling is also listening, right? And giving room for others to tell their story. For some of you women out there, you have stories about racism. You have countless stories about racism that you are speaking up about right now. Or you're choosing to protect those stories because you don't feel like it's safe to speak out about them. There are also some of you out there who don't understand, who want to help, who want to understand, but you just don't. And for those of us who don't completely understand racism and how it's affected folks, whether it's systemically, whether it's personally, I think right now is a time to listen to the stories that are being told and to believe them. So in Robin DiAngelo's book, White Fragility, she says that it's her experience that many folks of color do not share their stories about racism with white people because we make it so exhausting for them to do so that they just stop trying. And so that's always stuck with me, in that for some of you out there, you have stories to tell. And for some of you out there, you have stories to listen to and to believe. In that theme of storytelling, can we tell our stories? And can we be a movement that will listen and believe the stories that are being told right now? Whether it is just digging into the history of this country and being able to relearn the narrative and the history of this country as it pertains to racism, or if it's listening to stories of how, personal stories of how racism has affected the women around us and the families around us. And so right now, as we continue in our theme of storytelling, the Altogether Beautiful movement is not going to have our conference this summer because we want to make sure everybody's safe and comfortable, but we are going to be rolling out our podcast in which you will be able to hear stories, not only mine, but other women around me. You are going to be hearing stories of racism and how it has affected the women in our community. And so that will be happening this summer. I really wanted to convey today is that part of storytelling is being brave to tell your story right now. And if you don't understand, listen, believe, and if you're offended or confused, educate yourself. And so there are so many resources out there, really good resources. I'm just going to offer you two. Two of my favorite resources are Woke Church by Dr. Eric Mason, and also the book White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. So even if educating yourself is just picking up those books right now and reading them, that's a good place to start. You will be hearing more about our podcast and the different women that are going to be sharing their stories. We will continue this conversation of really sharing stories and mourning with those who mourn and seeking to understand if we don't. And so right now, in this time where people are hurting and angry and sick of waiting for justice, that we listen to their stories, we pay attention to their stories, and that we really mean what we say when we say you are not alone and you are altogether beautiful.
Beautiful, intelligent, and strong.